Oh, what, you having a laugh? Well, nobody's going to be interested in that, are they? I mean, people might as well want to listen to me sing. No, have it your own way. Hello, good evening, and welcome. And most important of all, a very good evening to you, as they say. I would offer you some coffee, but unfortunately, I have as yet failed to plug this appliance in. The more astute viewer to this absolute garbage will have discerned two very distinct recent threads on here. How to cheat at this apparatus that's in front of me, and original versions. Well, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to defy belief, analysis, and my solicitor by introducing a new thread. Oh yes. How great works of art came by their nicknames. So we'll begin with Chopin's famous, possibly even rather hackneyed, although of all the places Chopin visited, I don't think Hackney was uppermost amongst them, Polonaise in a Flat, which is odd because I thought he wrote it in a house in Paris. There you are. So Chopin's Polonaise in a Flat, Opus 53, Arsenal 4. Now, much has been made, as I just intimated, to Chopin's various travels. It's well known that he went to Paris. It's well known that he went to Edinburgh. And there, the parameters all become a little bit blurred. Well, ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your corsets. I'm about to prove to you, beyond any shadow of equivocal doubt, that Chopin actually visited Berlin. Stands back in amazement. Yeah, I can prove to you beyond any shadow of a doubt that Chopin went to visit Berlin. Irving Berlin was somewhere in the Bronx. I can prove this to you unequivocally. I mean, most of us know Chopin's Polonaise not in a house, in a flat, because it goes something like this. Etc., etc. Now, what if I were now to prove to you that Irving Berlin could sue Chopin for plagiarism? For I, in my inexhaustible attempts to resource this subject before coming on here and making a complete back end of a pantomime horse of myself, inexhaustible research, found one of these early manuscripts. I think it speaks volumes. Let's see what you think. I think that proves beyond any shadow of a doubt that Chopin did in fact meet Irving Berlin, and there you are. Don't mention it. And now we move on to one of life's tremendous mysteries. The great works of late Beethoven. The late works of great Beethoven, etc., etc. Along with his late string quartets, which are of such ineffable beauty, it's hard to imagine they could have been written by a composer who was blind. We'll come back to that at some other point, I think. Lucky he wasn't deaf. Anyway, a dear friend of mine, great teacher at the Royal College of Music, Jonty Solomon, once told me how he had a lesson with the great Myra Hess, who was one of the early judges on the Great British Bake Off. They spent an entire 2 hours on the first bar of a piece. Can you imagine that? Could you imagine spending 2 hours on the first bar of chocolate? No, I couldn't either. Coffee? No, maybe not. A bit late in the evening for that. Anyway, so we are going to concentrate both on the first bar of one of Beethoven's late sonatas and also how it acquired its rather silly nickname. 2 birds, 1 stone. Bit of a result, I think you'll agree. My mother told me, because I was born in Hammersmith, London W6, a district of London, as was. My mother used to frequent the Hammersmith Palais quite a lot. I remember her telling me how she was sure she saw Beethoven there once, kicking the hell out of a Scotsman right here in the shoulder. So, hammer clavier, hammer clavicle. It's possible. I'm not conjecture, I'm not laying this down as fact. Silly name could have come from anywhere. Nigel Kennedy told me once that he thought he saw Ludwig at a West Ham match. West Ham, hammer, dum-de-dum-de-dum. I remember hearing a very long, learned and erudite discourse about this piece, which is in 4 movements. I'm thinking about Basil Fawlty there. British Leyland Concerto in 3 movements, all of them slow with a 3-hour tea break in the middle. Something like that. Anyway. The last movement of the hammer clavier, Opus 106, is an immense fugue, written in 3 voices, according to the score, with some license, it says. What license? Television license? Dog license? Beethoven doesn't stipulate this. We have to find this out for ourselves. Could be anything. Now Beethoven's dead, he's taken the secret with him, we'll probably never know. But there is some license involved in the 3-voice fugal finale to this piece. Anyway, we're not concerning ourselves with that, nor are we concerning ourselves with the ineffably sublime slow movement. What can you say about that? Except it lasts somewhere between 18 and 25 minutes, depending on what son of a bitch is playing it. Or how they feel, I suppose. And also, it would have been nothing had Beethoven not appended this first bar to it. You just get a load of this. Now, if Beethoven hadn't appended that to the piece would last about 6.5 seconds less. If only Lloyd Webber. The rest is history. Anyway, we're not concerning ourselves with that, nor the silly scherzo. We're going to concern ourselves with the very opening of this piece. Now, this is a big can of worms. It is written roughly like this. roughly like this. Actually, in 50 years of playing this piece, that's the first bloody time I've ever done that accurately. My hands are bollocksed, and that is the first time I've ever managed to do that. I won't try it again. I swear to God, that's the first time I've ever hit that clean. Anyway, so people think you either do it like that, or you cheat, which nobody notices on records. You do this, the result's the same. You do this if you're Chinese and flamboyant. And now we get to the crux, ladies and gentlemen. Because I have figured out where greater men than I have stumbled. I have worked out what Beethoven wanted you to do with it. Now please, watch very carefully here, because I'm only going to do this once. You think about this, it explains everything. Stand by. Thank you for your society. You've been a blissful, idyllically wonderful audience as always. And thank you for listening to my ending detritus on here. I don't know what I'd do without you. The little man walked up and down to find an eating place in town. He looked the menu through and through to see what 15 pence could do. One meatball, one meatball. All he could afford was one meatball. Tune in next week where I'll discuss Rachmaninoff's strange relationship with something. See you then.